Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
Well, when I woke up, I was excited because it's Friday, almost the weekend. When we got to touch that pig lung, that was pretty.
I also woke up excited because it's Friday, almost the weekend, but I did not get to touch a pig lung. Coming up on CBS7 News at 9, we'll talk about why some MISD students did. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live from the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Laura Munt, and we start tonight with new details. The city of Midland has released new details after a man barricaded himself inside the Renew apartment complex around 10 o'clock last night. The city says 40-year-old Jason Williams is facing multiple charges. Officers on the scene said they saw Williams armed with a knife and not allowing his girlfriend to leave. Williams then threatened the officers with a knife and gun. MPD forced entry into the apartment and rescued the girlfriend. That's when Williams barricaded himself inside the apartment. He surrendered peacefully after an hour of negotiations and was taken to Midland County Jail, where he was booked on multiple charges, including assault on a peace officer. Continuing to track crime this week, the Midland Police Department helped capture 2 capital murder suspects who were wanted in Central Texas. 18-year-old Jaden D'Angelo Medeiros and 19-year-old Tavian Malik Williams were believed to be involved in a homicide near Austin. Both suspects had addresses in Midland, which led MPD officers to find Medeiros and take him into custody. Then last night, the U.S. Marshal Service told MPD that Williams had contacted them wanting to surrender. Both Medeiros and Williams were taken to Lee County. We turn now to an update on a massive fire in Ward County. According to Reeves County emergency personnel, a saltwater disposal well caught fire Thursday afternoon. Take a look at this video shared with us, a huge fireball. It was aired live on CBS7's Wake Up West Texas earlier this morning, where it appeared that something had exploded. There are no injuries reported, but the glow from the fire could be seen as far away as Odessa and even Fort Davis. Stay with CBS7 and CBS7.com for the latest updates. We've got a public safety report for you now. If you live in Odessa, you may have noticed some equipment in your yard. And a lot of you have reached out about this, and CBS7 has finally learned what exactly is going on. These are recording devices that will perform seismic tests. Dawson Geophysical has been contracted, to carry out these tests in Odessa. The test will produce 3D images of the Earth's layers using sound waves. According to the company, this will not cause any damage to property, and it's essentially just an X-ray that vibrates, which means that you might feel some of these vibrations during the test. But again, the company says the test will not cause any harm to the environment, people, pets, and property. Testing will be complete in about 4 weeks. If you need to have the seismic equipment removed from your yard temporarily, or if you've just got any questions about the testing equipment, you can contact Dawson Geophysical at 432-556-9295. Let's talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller. Tom, it is the weekend. It was hot today. Are we going to see any more warm temperatures throughout the weekend, or is it going to cool off a bit?
Well, we are going to see more wind in the forecast. Let's go ahead and take a look at, first off, current winds out there across the area. We are seeing those lightening up quite a bit across the area, sustained around 10 to 15 miles an hour, with those gusts below 20 miles an hour for most locations at the present time. So, again, excuse me, a big improvement out here. Sneezy weather wall is showing that we do have red flag warnings remain in effect until 11 o'clock tonight Central Time, 10 o'clock Mountain Time for these red shaded areas. But the good news is the wind is starting to calm down a little bit, still carrying the high wind warnings through the weekend across the Guadalupe Mountains National Park area. But overall, though, other than the breeze, it's going to be warm this weekend. We'll see temperatures down into the upper 50s overnight tonight. Another front on the way means more wind in our weekend forecast.
Thank you, Tom. If you've taken a drive through Midland at all this week, you've probably seen Midland firefighters holding a boot. If you didn't know, this is a fundraiser called Fill the Boot, and all the proceeds go to helping the Muscular Dystrophy Association. The campaign started back in 1954 when a group of families affected by muscular dystrophy approached a group of firefighters asking for help with the disease.
Midland Fire Department and the Professional Firefighter Association to continue this tradition with MDA. It's a blessing, and most of all, the community, they're proud to partner with us. So without the community and their donations, it wouldn't be possible.
So far, Midland firefighters have raised $55,000 with a goal of $80,000. And if you like to shop while also supporting local causes, well, then we've got the perfect event for you. Tomorrow morning, nonprofit Within Reach will be hosting a garage sale, and all of the clothes will only be $1. Within Reach is a survivor-led nonprofit that helps survivors of human trafficking deal with trauma using a technique called neurofeedback. I had the opportunity to speak with Christina Payne, the founder of Within Reach, in a CBS7 special report that aired earlier this year.
She wants a chance to succeed probably more than anybody else wants it for her, but the things that are hindering her are triggers and trauma and unspoken battle that she's not able to explain.
Tomorrow's garage sale is at 4519 Crockett Avenue. The sale begins at 8 and will end at 1. And if you missed my special report about advocating for the victims of human trafficking, you can find that on our website, CBS7.com. It's titled Picking Up the Pieces. And Basin for Badges is having its 11th annual Clay Shoot fundraiser on Wednesday. This is a time for groups to shoot clay, eat food, and support local law enforcement. Basin for Badges raises funds for the Ector and Midland County sheriffs and both towns' police departments. Since it began in 2014, they've raised over $4 million, split between 4 agencies.
And as I mentioned in the past, it's paid for our bomb squad program, our K9 training equipment, bulletproof vests, just really good things.
The event will be held at Windwalker Farms in Martin County from Wednesday to Friday. And Midland's Mikey Dogs is looking for a new permanent home. The hot dog stand currently serves up New York-style food at American Legion Post 19. But due to renovations, Mikey Dogs is moving. Mikey Dogs is owned by Mike Schlattman, and he specializes in no-bean chili dogs, beer-steeped sauerkraut, and dirty water, a New York City-style way to cook the all-beef hot dogs in beef broth with seasoning. Schlattman has spent the last 6 months serving his fellow veterans with the famous Nathan hot dogs with Coney Island flair. But now it's time to move on. His last day at the American Legion is Sunday.
I mean, it was a great run here. I've made a lot of new customers, got a lot more new regulars, and they're looking forward to me going on my new place as well.
Mikey Dogs will still be open Thursday through Sunday from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats, as well as being in person on Big Spring Street near Midland Self-Storage. But Schlattman is searching for a Midland business to host him and his hot dog stand. If you're interested, you can contact the Mikey Dogs Facebook page. And today, Midland College hosted over 800 Midland ISD 6th graders for a day of scientific exploration on their campus. The Science Extravaganza offered over 20 interactive science exhibits and experiments for the students to enjoy. They include STEM stations like chemistry, respiratory care, physics, and more, providing a diverse range of hands-on learning opportunities, all with a purpose, and there was a fan favorite.
In this forum, they're coming here to have fun, but they're also having their eyes open to careers in the future that they hadn't considered.
Students had the opportunity to take part in over 20 interactive science exhibits and experiments, and there was a clear fan favorite.
My favorite thing today was the pig lung, where we got to touch it and they made it breathe with a thing that they squeezed.
I think my favorite was also the pig lung because we got to learn and see how our lungs work when we breathe.
I would say my favorite was the respiratory because it was very interesting, like how they were making it breathe through the machine.
Midland College plans to host an even bigger and better science extravaganza next year, aiming to surpass previous attendance peaks of 2,000 students. And across Texas, the city of El Paso is moving forward with a new type of library card. It can double as a form of ID. In just 1 month, when this project is ready to launch, some people will walk into this library and get an enhanced library card that will actually be used as IDs, and it'll include a photo, name, address, date of birth, and other identifying details.
they will be used as an ID for the police department. They will also be able to open up, utility services, or pay taxes, or whatever else the city, get permits here within the planning and inspections department.
If a person wants one of these cards, they can go to one of the 4 library locations, fill out a form, show proof of ID, and minutes later, they'll be given a new library card. Still ahead, the first witness in former President Donald Trump's historic criminal trial in New York has completed his testimony. The latest details up next. Former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker returned to the stand earlier today for more cross-examination in former President Donald Trump's New York criminal trial. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
Former President Donald Trump called his criminal trial rigged as he headed into a New York courtroom Friday, but still seemed pleased with the testimony so far.
I think yesterday went very well in this courthouse. It should be over. The case is over. You heard what was said.
Trump's lawyers are continuing their cross-examination of former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker. During his days-long testimony, Pecker explained how he and Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen worked together to catch and kill negative stories about Trump in an effort to prevent alleged affairs from becoming scandals during his 2016 presidential campaign.
The DA's case is really rises and falls with David Pecker's testimony because he is the linchpin behind their theory of this sort of conspiratorial scheme to influence the election.
Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He's accused of funneling so-called hush money payments through Michael Cohen to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election.
It's not a crime if it wasn't done with the purpose of influencing the election.
The presumptive Republican presidential nominee has repeatedly expressed frustration that the trial is keeping him off the campaign trail. Today, he expressed frustration that it's keeping him from celebrating his wife Melania's birthday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The former president also shared this morning that he listened last night to Thursday's U.S. Supreme Court arguments about his immunity case. Trump said the argument was brilliant, and he thought the justices' questions were great.
Well, we are going to be looking at a little more breeze coming up this weekend. Another front's on the way, and it could put an isolated thunderstorm or two in the forecast for parts of West Texas. All the forecast details are coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, red flag warnings remain in effect here for another couple of hours just to be on the safe side. The strongest winds right now are back into the mountain areas in southeast New Mexico, but the good news is they're really starting to calm down across the area, but they'll be back this evening. Again, those winds, not all that bad. They've really dropped off here over the latest report at 9 o'clock, 10 to 15 miles an hour sustained and no gust above 20 miles an hour. So I call that a win out there. But tomorrow, though, we're going to see that next front start to roll in late. More wind is on the way and more fire danger concerns. Now, taking a look at the weather makers, here's that big storm system that caused a couple of thunderstorms across West Texas today. It lit up with numerous severe thunderstorms and tornadoes causing damage across Nebraska, Kansas, even into portions of Texas, northwest of Corsicana near Elm House, and also back to the west of Waco. A couple of tornado touchdowns causing some damage this afternoon. That activity has spread off to the north and east and moving into Arkansas at the present time, but it just shows you that we have that trough moving in. Another storm system is going to pass to our north, so this dry line is going to kind of wash back and forth tomorrow as that next front starts to hit it. Could see some thunderstorms pop up extreme eastern Permian Basin. Temperatures across the state, not all that bad. Still hanging on to some 90s though in and around Del Rio. Let's take a look at that futurecast and show you dry line pushes back to the west. May see an isolated shower, thundershower, northeast Permian Basin early on. Best bet's going to be off to the north and east. Then the clock ahead, we see that front starting to move in. Here comes some thunderstorms blossoming extreme eastern Permian Basin into the big country about 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. And one or two of those could be on the strong to possibly severe side, but they will be very isolated coming up late tomorrow. Upper 50s overnight tonight, a lot less wind in the forecast, but guess what? It'll be back tomorrow as temperatures will be into the lower 80s and getting a break from the wind a little bit here on Sunday into Monday and next week. And then it looks a little unsettled in the forecast as we're going to have another Pacific storm system and cold front bring some rain chances back to our forecast late next week.
Still ahead, anti-war protests emerge on more college campuses today, not just across the states, but also internationally. We've got the story next. Across the nation, President Joe Biden was met with dozens of protesters upon his arrival in Syracuse Thursday afternoon. Right across from the most were pro-Palestine protesters who were calling for a ceasefire. Laura Lagarde reports.
As President Biden was making his way, all you could hear were the chants of pro-Palestine protesters calling for a ceasefire.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
We're here to let President Biden know that he is out of step with the American people and out of step with the international community.
Jonathan Brenneman is a Palestinian American. He and his fellow protesters refuse to go unheard. Continuing to call for the president and local leaders to stop funding the war in the Middle East.
President Biden needs to stop supporting this genocide of Palestinians, and every person who is walking by who is going into that is hearing our message.
I think what you're seeing is a movement that's going to last for years, for decades, for generations. This is just the beginning.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
On the other side of the fence were former President Donald Trump supporters who booed the president as he made his way to the most. Some holding signs that shame President Biden for visiting, while emotions are still fresh for the central New York community after 2 officers were tragically killed in the line of duty.
We're going to obviously be in protest, but peaceful, civil. You know, we're not going to throw things or anything.
Despite the 2 parties protesting the president's visit, there are still those who came to support him.
It's exciting because I've never been close to a president, this close to a president, so I just wanted to get a picture.
And across the world, dozens of students carried out a pro-Palestinian blockade in the main campus building of a major French university, Sciences Po, in central Paris. Melissa Bell has the details.
A student protest here in central Paris at one of Sciences Po, one of the most prestigious universities in France's main buildings in central Paris. What set this protest off, we're hearing from the students here, was a protest that was held on Wednesday in another building and that was abruptly cleared out by the police. What the students here say is that the police's intervention is what has galvanized this support for the protest movement today. But this is also a protest movement that is very much in sympathy with what's been happening on American campuses.
Seeing some friends and comrades doing this in Columbia University and all around the US and now in Australia also motivated us to continue the fight that we've been doing since October.
So we are inspired by Columbia, Harvard, Yale, UNC, Vanderbilt, all these universities that have mobilized, but our solidarity remains with the Palestinian people first and foremost. Inside the building, they've set up tents, they've been camped out overnight, and they intend to stay here for as long as it takes to get the attention of their university. Very similar demands to the ones we've seen in the United States. The end of the war in Gaza, but also the end of any cooperation between the academic institution and any companies that might be working with Israel. Melissa Bell, CNN, Paris.
Next here on CBS7, we're making a big splash as we talk about National Pool Opening Day. We'll tell you all about it next here at 9. All right, Tom, go dig your floaties out of the back of your closet because tomorrow is National Pool Opening Day. The unofficial holiday is observed the last Saturday in April every year, and it's a sign for pool owners across the country to get their swimming pools ready for the summer. You know, we have a pool, and my parents have a pool in their backyard, and I think I need to call my mom and tell her to get the pool ready for you to come swim. You said you were going to come by and swim with the
grandkids and have a grand old time there, okay?
I think she'd be totally okay with that.
You know, the weather lately has been almost pool weather. Really, we're going to see the lower 80s coming up this weekend, so maybe just a touch chilly, but really not all that bad. We're going to see a lot of wind, so the pool may be the place to be. Don't think we'll see too much in the way of any thunderstorm activity until maybe the middle, latter part of next week. So not too bad a weekend.
All right, so I'll call my mom after the show and tell her that we're ready to go swim in the pool.
All right.
I'll say Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeper-Teller is coming too. Thanks for watching CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight.